Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm behind the wheel of Porsche's Taycan Turbo S and I'm out in beautiful sunny Sweden. I actually flew into Stockholm late last night, stayed near the coast just below Stockholm, and we have caught a ferry across to the beautiful island of Gotland. I'm here with Michelin. As many of you might know, Nordic countries like Sweden, Norway, Finland, etc. Tend to have very good or much better EV infrastructure than, let's say, the UK. I wanted to experience and see that firsthand. I also wanted to experience a bit of a road trip in an EV because it's not the sort of thing, as many of you know, it's not the sort of thing I would normally choose to do. And I think coming out here to experience, let's say, EV life should be quite interesting. Also, the group that I'm in predominantly are EV users, so we have a couple of German guys in a modified Tesla Model 3 Performance. We've got another German guy just behind us in a Model S Plaid, one with a funny steering wheel. We have Raz in front, who is from Denmark and has driven his brand new Audi Q8 e-tron here. And we also have Silver, who is in, well, the sister car to the Taycan, Audi's RS e-tron GT. It's a very nice, red, beautiful looking thing. I've taken my petrol head cap off for this journey, for this experience, and I'm going to be as open-minded as humanly possible. We're also going to learn a lot about Michelin's tyres. All of these vehicles are on either PS5s, PS4s. The Q8 is on PS4 SUVs, but I think we're going to look at some of their efficient tyres like the Primacy E that I put on my 7 Series for my long distance challenge. Very low rolling resistance, very hard wearing, long lasting tyres. Obviously those tyres are very sustainable in the sense that they last a lot longer, but they're also much better at eking out range, whether it's in your electric car or in your combustion engine car. Obviously in your electric car, range is really important. Efficient tyres really do play a big part in eking out that range. Anyway, I'm going to switch the GoPros off because we're apparently off to a very picturesque piece of road. So you join me a couple of hours later. We stopped in the most beautiful spot to have our afternoon fika snacks. My fika. Is that right, Moa?
Yes.
Life doesn't get much better. I've got the lovely Moa next to me. Moa is the equivalent of James in the UK, so looks after all the Nordics, which is very cool. And I appreciate, your help out here. It's lovely having a local guide, and obviously,
you like it.
Oh, it's just beautiful. I mean, honestly, I'm not putting it on for the camera. The weather helps for sure, and the conditions are just so calm and so beautiful. But of all the cars in the world to drive along here on a day like today, I don't think there's a better car than an EV. And that's me, Mr. Petrolhead, saying that because I'm not in a rush. I'm not going down here to film a big video with skids, and I'm just going down here to enjoy everything and the scenery and everything, the surroundings, and not having an engine or any sound is just wonderful.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. It's absolutely wonderful, this place. Honestly, I don't want to say too much more about it because I don't want too many people coming over here on holiday. As Moa was saying to me earlier on, like in the summer months, it's really busy, right?
Yeah. The perfect time to go is in June or late August or beginning of September.
Okay, which is now, it's 20 degrees. It's just, honestly, it's such a beautiful, beautiful place. And it's like a combination of countries to me. It really is. It's like There's parts of France in here, but then there's parts of Barbados almost, where we stop for lunch, you know. It's just a real combination and mixture, and there's no rubbish anywhere because it's Sweden and the people are proud of their country, and you don't get too many actual tourists. You probably just get mostly Swedish tourists, right? Like from Stockholm, and I mean, wow, it's just wonderful. Hopefully the GoPros are doing it some kind of justice. Fantastic. Right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. You join me on day 2 of our adventures in Sweden and on Gotland Island. What a fantastic day. It's actually the end of the day now. As you can see, the light is fading a little bit. And we're just going along this adventurous coastal road, which is just gorgeous. Hopefully I can borrow someone's drone shots and just show you where we've been stopped. But let's rewind. This morning, after we left the hotel, we had a surprise. We didn't know what we were doing today, but we knew that we were going to be pushed a little bit out of our comfort zones, and that was kind of part of what this trip was about. So we turned up on a beautiful beach, and we actually went, I think they're called electric surfboards. I mean, I'm not very good at surfing. I lived in Australia when I was much younger, and I was pretty much useless then. I was okay on the boogie board, but not so much on the surfboards. It took me a while to understand the physics of it, but once I did and I was up, it was just brilliant. I unfortunately lost my GoPro. The first time I managed to get on my feet, and then I fell off in the ocean, and the GoPro fell off my head because I had a head strap. And by the time I realised, it was gone. So that's a shame. Then we had a beautiful lunch. It was a wild waffle, which again, just incredible food. And then we got on one wheels, which are like skateboards, but with a singular wheel in the middle. Right, you now join me, very hot and sweaty with a helmet on that's way too small, on a one wheel board. I'm useless on skateboards, I'm useless on snowboards, I'm making all the excuses in the world because I'm just not very good, but actually I'm a little bit better now than I was 10 minutes ago when we started. It just requires a lot of balance and talent, and I don't have either of those. But at least I'm keeping Raz nice and fit running after me. Let's see if I haven't made it this far yet, so this is actually good. Oh no, where am I going? Anyway. An amazing experience, really cool, and once again burning off some calories, ready for, I'm sure, a nice meal tonight. It was a bit like mountain biking but on a skateboard, except I'm a lot better at mountain biking. And then we ended the day at this beautiful lookout spot. We did have a cheeky little cross-country drive on the way to that lookout, and I might insert a little clip right here. I really feel like I've been able to relax. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I've had to focus really hard to learn 2 skills today. I've picked up 2 skills, electric surfboarding and one wheeling, which I'm really pleased with myself. You know, I'm definitely the oldest in this group by some 10 years plus. Moa, if you're watching this, you've just done an incredible job with this trip. Really, really incredible. I am going to switch the cameras off now, focus on driving. I think the hotel is about an hour away. I'll see you guys tomorrow, which is our final day on Gotland, which is sad, but at the same time, 3-day trips, I mean, it's not very often that these trips are 3 solid days, and tomorrow we have something very different. Hey guys, you join me at the end of day 3 and my final day in Sweden and on the beautiful island of Gotland. I'm actually currently at the Gotland Ring, which is a racing circuit right at the top of the island. The day started in a classroom, essentially learning about the future and the next generation of many of Michelin's tyres, the ingredients that are going to become more and more sustainable, what they're doing with tyres that we can buy today, especially their efficiency-based tyres, so tyres like the e-Primacy or any of the EV specific tyres, they're trying to make them last longer, and not only last longer, but perform at a better level throughout the tyre's life. Hopefully, most of you know, in the UK at least, the legal tread depth on a tyre is 1.6 millimeters. But most of us get rid of our tyres when they get to about 3 millimeters, because at least in the past, when the tread depth wears down, especially below, let's say 4 millimeters, you lose a lot of performance, you lose a lot of wet grip, wet braking, etc. And what Michelin are trying to do, and have been for many years now, is improve the tyre efficiency, the tyre performance as the tyre wears. So the drop away is nowhere near as severe as it used to be. What that means is you can hold on to your tyres until they're a lot more worn, to say 2 mil, 2.5 mil. So you get more mileage out your tyres, you're going to use less tyres in a car's lifetime. It's going to cost you less, hopefully, in the long run as well. Now we're going to jump back to a little bit earlier. You can join me in one of their test car Polestar 2s, and I'm going to compare the Pilot Sport EV tyre to the e-Primacy tyre on one of their little test tracks behind me. You now join me in a Polestar 2. I think it's actually the first time I've driven a Polestar. And we're out on one of the testing circuits at the Gotland Ring. And this particular car is on Pilot Sport EVs. So let's say a performance oriented EV specific tyre. Firstly, the car feels pretty good. I'm guessing it's quite heavy, this car, because it's an EV, but it feels not too bad. A little bit understeery, and all the traction control aids are on, so I can feel it restricting everything. But yeah, the tyres, they're talking to me. Steering feel in this car is actually not too bad. One of the better EVs. And this circuit is a real test, because it's massively undulated. Probably looks very flat on camera, like all circuits do. Very little tyre noise, no tyre roar, and also not really much tyre squeal, even when you can feel the front slidings. I want to jump in the e-Primacy clad Polestar 2 now, because, well, that in comparison should feel nowhere near as good as this car. So let's see. By the way, I've got Mr. Silver next to me. A very good YouTuber from Sweden.
Thank you so much,
guy.
Mark.
He's not normally this quiet, so he's behaved himself. Thank you, mate. As you now join me in an identical Polestar 2. I say identical, it's not quite, because it has some Michelin e-Primacy tyres. Now, the e-Primacy tyre is a tyre that I actually used in my long distance 7 series challenge or video. If you've not seen that already, there's a link up here. Managed to get over 1,000 miles out of a single tank of diesel, and a lot of that was, well, some of that was thanks to the e-Primacy tyres that are very, very low rolling resistance. A lot of people mistake the E with electric, but it's not. It's actually E for efficiency and low rolling resistance. But out here, well, I can feel that they are really struggling compared to the Pilot Sport EV tyre. I could definitely feel the inherent difference between these e-Primacies and the Pilot Sport EV tyre. The Pilot Sport EV tyre is a tyre that I'm much more accustomed to. It's a tyre that I feel much more at home with, especially out on track. Feels very much like a Pilot Sport 4S, whereas these e-Primacies, they're not designed for track use at all, and you can feel that when you're out here. The car's still very safe, it's very stable, obviously all the traction control etc is switched on. We then jumped into a Volvo XC40, I think it was, one that had Pilot Sport EV tyres on it and one that had a competitor tyre on it, and we did a wet braking test. Now, it wasn't a scientific test as such because there are so many variables. The sun was out a bit earlier when we did that, so even though it was wet, it was drying very quickly in places. And I did a couple of runs in both the Michelin clad car and the clad car. My average braking distance in both, well, the Michelin was slightly shorter, but more importantly to me was the actual feel and the way the car was under emergency braking situation. The Michelin definitely felt far more stable, far more planted, whereas the Pirellis, you could feel the car moving around a bit more. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this video because this beautiful Taycan Turbo S that has been my wheels for the past 3 days is actually leaving me now, and I'm going to jump in a bus, go to the airport and fly back to the UK. It's been an absolutely awesome experience out here. If you're thinking about going to Sweden and thinking about coming to Gotland, then I can't recommend it high enough. It's a really beautiful place with some lovely people and fantastic food. Obviously, we had some amazing experiences on top of that, and I have enjoyed my time in this car. That's not to say I can't wait to get back to Heathrow tonight and jump in the M2 and hit that starter button and hear the combustion engine fire into life, because I have missed that. I'm not going to deny or pretend that I haven't, but I've really grown to appreciate and respect especially the Taycan and the Polestar 2. Even though it was a base model, I really thought that was quite an impressive bit of kit. So maybe I should get my hands on a Polestar 2 when I'm back in the UK at some point. Massive thanks to Moa for looking after us for the past 3.5 days. Huge thanks to Michelin for giving me this experience. It's been really, really cool, really enjoyed myself. And big thanks to everyone for watching this video, especially if you've managed to get this far in. I'll see you at another video very, very soon. Cheers.